Hi guys, welcome back to Jane Talks. Another week has passed by. I'm sitting out, it's fairly early this morning, it's just after 8. I'm sitting out on my deck here and the sun's coming up behind me. I can kind of see a glare on the screen, so hopefully it doesn't make too poor quality here. So my reading this week has kind of been has kind of made me do a lot of more self-evaluation. And it's kind of it's exciting and it's interesting to me to see how the reading affects me when I do have a goal in mind, when there's somewhere that I'm going, and even though for I know where I want to go, but even though I know that the journey is going to be new, and there's a lot of things that I will be exploring and finding out about myself that I didn't know before. And I think that's the interesting part right there. So I think I mentioned last week I've been reading a book about the great basketball coach John Wooden. He's the one, for those of you that don't know, he's the one that took UCLA to 10 championships in 12 years. Anyway, I had gotten the book a while ago, I think last year, and I could hardly put it down this week. Like it was really, I found it very helpful for me. And one of the things, I saved it here in the book. Towards the end of the book, he came up with a pyramid for success, and this was mostly more for himself than others. And the book kind of goes and explains each block of the pyramid and why he chose that block. He said this pyramid took him many years to construct, and to him, this is what it was all about. And the pinnacle of the pyramid is success itself. And he defines success as the peace of mind that is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing you did your best to become the best you are capable of becoming. And I really, really like that, because for me, I know that I've always viewed success as, maybe a family that has financial wealth, or they have a very good marriage, or the children are very intelligent, and that by the look of things, they have everything. They have money and they have happiness, and they go on trips, and it's all monumental things. But I know that for me, what makes a truly great person is who they are inside. I have never been affected by looks. Sure, there's lots of people that are beautiful or handsome, gorgeous, tons of people that have beautiful bodies, and that's lovely. My dad always used to say that he would prefer 300 pounds of curves to 100 pounds of nerves. And he also used to say, and I don't know if I can get this right, but he used to say about, I can't remember the whole quote, but the end of it was something about a personality that stinks like a bag of onions. So I can only imagine the first part was the beautiful outer shell, but if they have a personality that stinks like a bag of onions, then, that's not for him. Anyway, back to the point here. So when I read this pyramid of success, it was interesting to me. I'm not gonna read the whole thing to you. It's quite detailed, but what it made me think of was, I guess it kind of drew me back to my marriage, and why I feel the way I do about it. So most people would say my marriage was a failure, and I prefer to say the marriage ended. And there are a number of reasons why. But the reason I'm able to look at it the way I did, I believe, is because of that very thing of success. His pyramid. I can look back and I could give instances how I learned and implemented each one of those building blocks in an effort to try and make my marriage work. And when I finally realized it takes two people to make it work, you both have to want it. very, very much. If you don't want it and you both don't work at it, it won't work. And that's why I can, I'm sad that the marriage ended. It's not what I wanted. But it was the right decision. It was the right decision for us all as a family. And again, the reasons why, that's not the important part of what I'm thinking about today. For me, I think reading that Pyramid of Success made me take that instance in my life, and yes, the outcome of my goal during those years was not what I anticipated or desired. But what did it teach me? And I can look at that now and I can say, you know what, like, that experience, I know I can work hard at something. I know I can commit to something. I know that I will give my all to something that I believe in that deeply. And that makes me feel good about me as a person, because that's really who I want to be. I want to be the kind of person that will give all. I want to be the kind of person that that can commit and be loyal and find happiness in whatever. And again, I know that comes down to our own personal beliefs in things. And I think that's really that's the most important part. If we're not true to ourselves and encourage ourselves to have goals and dreams and do what we need to bring ourselves toward that, we'll never get there. And that true sense of happiness and peace we won't find. I also, that Pyramid of Success, I think, was kind of the culmination. I was reading another book as well, and it was talking about anger, and the kind of the myths and truths of it, and why anger isn't necessarily a bad thing in our lives. We just need to learn how to express it. And being assertive is fine, aggressive is not, along those kind of lines. And I think that made me think a lot about myself. Well, is that my problem? Like, I know that growing up, like, anger was not something. I'll see if I can find this quote that I saved here. Anger, this is a myth, not a truth. Anger, unless it's justified, should not be expressed. And I think that would be kind of the general thought of how I was raised. That was not a quality attribute. That was not something, pride and anger. Those were all things that we should work against. That, however, does not change the fact that we do have those emotions. And I think, for me, for some reason, I because I knew they were not quality attributes and that I should not have them, I just tried to push them aside instead of dealing with them. And so I think that caused some of my, outbursts and the frustrations that I felt inside me. There was nowhere for that emotion to go. Instead of letting it out constructively and communicating about it, sometimes just the admission of a negative feeling can help us begin to work through that negativity and turn it around into something positive. That's what I feel now anyway. Anger is a now emotion. And I really like this quote as well. Get past then so that now doesn't ruin when. I really, really like that for many, many reasons. And again, I think that reading about the anger and that quote right there is what led me to be so accepting about the Pyramid of Success. The blocks are hard, and working through those things is a true test of who you are, where you come from, and who you want to be. And knowing that I was who I want to be at one point gives me the courage and certainty that I will be that person again. And that makes me really happy. So have a great week, and stay warm. It's pretty cool now with the fall temperatures. And we'll talk to you again.